Okay, hello everyone. This video, because of the nature in this video, it's more graphic somehow than my last two videos on this man and the things he has done. So I have to instate a new content warning for this video. Your new content warnings are as followed. Self-harm and gore, sexual themes including assault mentions, hospital discussion, yelling and heavy profanity, and adult texting minors inappropriately, as well as bizarre sexual type of roleplays. Those are the ones that come to my head now. I actually don't recall any others, but I do apologize if I missed anything off. These are your content warnings, and also for anyone who is not aware of the situation, this is the fourth video now about this man that I have made. Each video covers a different situation. The first video was with a situation with a minor called V. The second video was made because he made an awful response about my first video. The third video then involved a new victim, and now this fourth video involves a new victim as well, and also an analysis of his interactions on a public Discord server where he knew there were minors and the things he would say. So, with all of that out of the way, it feels incredibly wrong to say I hope you can enjoy this video, but I hope this video is going to be informative, and I hope that this video might help someone out there. Thank you very much. Hi everyone, this is an update to the Yuri Ayato situation. A new person has come forward, but first I want to summarize for everyone who's missed the last three parts. Yuri Ayato is a former fan of mine who has been caught lying about his age and texting underage people, like minors, about 18 plus content and such like that. It started off with the first victim V, who he was texting about adult games and adult media, who he was talking about things he wanted to do to fictional characters and such like that. He was just being really, really weird. He was talking about genitalia and such with the minor, or the privates. He was talking about privates with minor, and said something in reference to the minor's private as well. And then after I covered that situation, he made an awful response to that, basically saying, I didn't think the minor was 15. Also, I thought it was a joke. Also, the minor likes yaoi too, which I spent an hour on recording disproving absolutely everything about that response. He never addressed the fact that he lied about his age or anything like that. And then a day later, I would find out that another person come forward to me with information about their conversations with him, where I would find out that this person sent clothed nudes to to the victim who wants to stay anonymous. And I found out that this man also was trying to kind of engage this other person in like weird roleplay stuff by, like alpha male and master type thing. All while never ever verifying the age of the other person or even asking. So that person also stopped talking to Ayato, but then let me know everything that happened with screenshots, and now we are here to today. Someone else came forward with their own message on TikTok, which I will read now. Hello, I'm not sure if you remember me from YouTube, but my name was blank. And I commented how I had Ayato added and that I was going to contact the server owner about him. I just wanted to give a few more details about Ayato, even though I wouldn't call myself a victim and my story isn't as bad as others, but I'd still like to tell it. So, first thing is he reached out to me in the IDV server asking to be friends since I had profile of BL character he also liked. I asked him to play IDV together sometime and we added each other. I said I couldn't play at the moment, he said it was alright, and then he called me cutie, which I found a bit odd to just call someone you meet cutie. After that, we just talked about our interests for a bit, nothing really weird, and then he'd asked me for my pronouns. I find it strange that he asked someone for their pronouns before asking someone's age. He told me he's 16, and I said I'm 14 turning 15. He then reacted to that message with a heart, and then he said, yeah, I'm comfortable with any age, I don't mind. Like, sorry, but isn't that a weird thing to say? That just confirms he doesn't care about how old people are. There's one more thing I want to say. I don't know if it's important and maybe I'm not allowed to say it, but I once asked him, "Hey, how are you?" And he said he's doing bad, that he's in the hospital. I asked what happened, and he just said lack of food, and then he sent a picture of his wrist with some kind of bandage. I don't know what it's called exactly, but I'm guessing something translated into his body. Um, Now, this might not even be a serious topic, but I do think you should tell someone you're gonna send a picture of their wrist in a hospital because it could be triggering to some people. Personally, I don't know how to feel about it because I really hate hospitals and have had bad relations with blood tests and stuff. So it's not the best seeing a wrist and a plaster hospital tool. He did send those with spoiler warning image, but he did that to every picture he sent saying it what without saying what it was, so I just clicked, and as I said before, this might not have been important, but I just think it's weird how he sent stuff without even asking. After that, we played, and then he never texted me again. I didn't text him either. I realized I forgot to say one important thing. He said in the beginning we could be best friends and talk about anything with like the face with the colon and the tree. I guess that's fine to say, but seeing your video, it seems like he has been asking to be best friends with a lot of strangers, so this guy in general is just weird. I'm sorry this message turned out so long. I replied back and I said, "No worries for the long text, I'm quite fond of reading despite the troubling nature of your statement. I knew this guy is strange when I met him because his messages with me. Also, a lot of bizarre things you generally shouldn't say to anyone, but chalked it up to a craze fan. But having spoke to many others, I realize now this is a flaw in him. I'm concerned about the nature of what he said to you. I'm really glad you're not in contact with such a scary man for long at all, and it's like good luck. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, that he didn't try reaching out to you after either. It's really awful that this happened to you. I have a firm belief that all of his victims, and I do include you in this to some degree, um, because of the nature of what he said, will get justice in time. Both from your words and his own response, I'm sure that, as you are, that he does not care for age as a factor. It is sick what he's doing. I think it is like a formula, step by step, he has developed to reaching minors, and I get this idea from my analysis of another situation involving him half a year ago. I would have wished that in his response to my allegations, he would have been honest about his age and about the presence of others, but no, he couldn't do that. I hate people like this, so I'll continue to speak on his actions and as and when I discover more, because it's a respect to the victims and a protection to people who in the community who may be unaware. But I also want to put your mind at ease. I'm not going to run with your message and spread it everywhere without your explicit permission. A few of the people who've reached me privately wanted their information to stay private, and I always respect their word too for some of them and their safety too. I hope you are well, even after all this. I'm extremely sorry again that you find out this man's depravity from my video. Thank you for the response. I'm doing well. I'm just glad that you're speaking up about this, since it's really important. I honestly can't imagine how many people he's done this to. It's gross. If you do want to spread more information, I'm fine with you sharing some stuff I said, but I'd like to keep my name and socials private. If you want proof, I can show you if needed. I really wish we could ban him on Identity V. Yeah, that's all of the relevant conversation that we had about this man, and then we of course moved over to Discord. Okay, so we went to Discord. This individual sent me some screenshots. There are some key ones I want to read out to you very quickly. There's this one here, where Ayato is talking about something nothing and then says, "I'm 16 years old, by the way, is that okay?" The minor involved, who wants to stay anonymous, lets him know that yes, that's okay. He's turning 14. I mean, he's 14 turning 15, sorry. If that's alright. Ayato hearts that. Which by itself isn't weird, but when you know that he's texting minors in these ways, it's concerning to me. The next message isn't relevant, but Ayato then follows up, "Yeah, I'm comfortable with any age, I don't mind." Which again, by itself, it's a little weird, but it's not the worst. But when we know that he's sending inappropriate stuff to anyone of any age, as he sent inappropriate stuff to a minor, and he sent inappropriate stuff to someone he didn't even know the age of, who thankfully was an adult, who cut contact with him, like, they should responsibly. when you are comfortable with any age to the point where you're sending like stuff from like slow damage and stuff to these people, that's a concern to me. That's a big concern to me. This happened in February for curiosity. So what I'm trying to show is this pattern of behavior is a pattern. This is a long time he's been doing this stuff. V was a recent case that just unraveled everything. What I have managed to find about this guy and his long pattern behavior is this has been going on for at least half a year. And consistently, these are not two isolated incidents. He's been doing this consistently through that half a year, and probably even longer than that still. Your other messages with this minor include that the minor told you they can't play right now, and you said that's alright, and you called them cutie. And if we look at the times of these messages, 9:32 to 9:49, it's a bit strange to me, and the minor found it really like strange as well and a little uncomfortable that you called them cutie without even, again, knowing how old they were, and they didn't know how old you were either at this time. And that might be something nothing, but again, in relation to the ways that you do and have been caught messaging minors, I am worried. What else you said? You said, what are your pronouns? Again, time of this message, 9:43. You asked pronouns before you even brought up age. And again, that is something or that is nothing, but in relation to everything else you've done, it's really weird that you would rather check the gender of the person you're talking to than actually check they're old enough to be talking to you about the things that you like to bring up. And one thing I also want to bring up in relation to this as well is what the last victim told me. Unfortunately, during this video, I will have to make comparisons because there are a lot of contextual things that won't make sense unless I bring it up in relation to the other victims. So this video will make comparisons, whereas my last one didn't. The other victim, if we can remember their account, like what they said about you, they said that they said you never talked about age, but always assumed that they were a male and wanted them to be your master and alpha male and other weird stuff like that. And that you also showed them 18 plus games and stuff like that. And they got disgusted and stopped talking to you. And here you are, again, like, it's a little weird that you're more fixated on the gender of who you're talking to. Especially with the context of the last person you were talking to. You were just straight up assuming that they were male without ever asking. So this, again, is weird to me. What else you said? Oh, yeah, the minor warned me, by the way, that you guys met on a server, which I have had access to, and I will discuss the messages he's been saying on that server, because there's a lot to discuss. But the minor said that to you that you guys need to play IDV together, and you said to them, sure, let me log in, I will be your best friend, and we can talk about anything together. Again, by itself, that's not the weirdest. It's a little strange that you're already so sure you're gonna have this super strong connection with them. But it's not the worst thing in the world. But in relation to all the other things that you have done, and you got to remember as well, the last person Ayato was talking to, or the last one I made a video about, also said that Ayato said that they would play rank together and be best friends as well. And that Ayato's idea of best friends seems like really weird and, you know, super duper close. I don't know why my PC is not working. This is bugging me a lot. I have no connection, so I cannot log on to Discord right now. This is really weird, you know? This is extremely weird conversation to have with someone that, again, the message is 9:29. You don't even know the age of this person, and you're already saying you can be best friends. This is weird. But whatever, right? Because there's more. The last thing the minor brought up to me, and I will bring it up here as well, is that The last thing I will bring up in relation to the minors' private messages, because they didn't go on super long. The minor stopped talking to you, you stopped talking to the minor, that just happened. You said something along the lines of that you weren't feeling well or you were in hospital or something. The minor asked what happened. And this is something that bugged the minor personally, and I'm going to discuss it because it's minor, but it's minor enough that I want to talk about it. You replied and you said lack of food, and you sent a picture with a needle in your arm. With absolutely, like a cannula, you know? Like the thing that go in your arm, give you fluid. You just dropped a picture with absolutely no spoiler tag or anything like that. And again, that's not a huge deal, but you are exposing people to shit that you're not even making sure they're comfortable to see, you know? You could have just, sent it in with a spoiler or anything like that. Like a proper spoilering, because the minor says you did technically spoiler, but you didn't tag what it was. And in the server, because when I went in the server, you also posted it in the server. You also posted it in the server, and what happened there was you didn't even tag it in the server. Overall, really, really weird stuff. Again, it's fine to want people to know what's going on with you and to want people to have concern for you, but consent is a huge part of this, and while it's not intimate in nature, it's still really, really important that you are making sure people are comfortable with the things you're showing them. You know, pictures of yourself in hospital with a needle on your arm are not comfortable for many people on this planet to see, you know? Anyway, that's where the conversations pretty much end between these two, because as I said, they don't talk long. So the rest of this video is going to be dedicated to everything I found on his interactions on this server, and I want to make a clear stance now. I'm not going to drag the server in any way. I'm not going to drag the individuals in the server in any way. Because people can run their server how they want and such like that, and these individuals are entitled to their privacy. My focus for this video is on Ayato and his interactions only, so I just want you guys to know that, and that's the approach I'm going to be looking at. So, without further ado, let's begin. Okay, hello. Let me just open these separately so I can make sure they're all recording nicely. Okay. What I found when I was on the server was... I found a lot. Sorry you can hear my clicking, I got a new mouse during the recording of this video. I found a lot. Let's start with some of the things that people familiar with the situation will already know about, and that is the slow damage edit that you sent to the video. You captioned it, "Me after that one last rank match." And in this edit, I cannot show you guys the edit, but in this edit, there are active scenes of Toa cutting himself. And some of these scenes that are shown in the edit come from intimate scenes or graphic scenes, like the example I just provided. And you just sent this to a server with no spoiler tag, by the way. You sent this to a server with minors. And you knew they were minors because you were messaging two of them privately. We'll get to that soon. One of which is the one who reached out to me to let me know that, you had these interactions with them and you were also on a server that they were in and they got you banned from that server. But you sent an edit with actual scenes of a man from a game cutting himself. Uncensored. And there were a lot of comments on my first video, which is where I say that this part might be familiar to other people, because in the first video there was an instance where he was threatening to send scenes from this game called Slow Damage to a 15-year-old. If the 15-year-old didn't, hang out with him or go on voice call or something like that with him. You were threatening the 15-year-old with that, and here you are, outright exposing members of a server that you know has minors in it to Slow Damage. Directly. And I want to bring up again the time of these messages. This was the 23rd of February, which I know we're going back in the past for this video, but what I want everyone to understand, this is a long time pattern that this man has formulated. He has been doing all of these disgusting things with other people for such a long time. V coming out about this man started it all, unraveled everything, and now I want to take you through every victim's story that has come to me thus far. This is part of the story. This is disgusting as well, I want to point out. This is disgusting, exposing a server with minors to slow damage. And that's what the comments on my other video were. People who liked slow damage, who, played slow damage, were saying that it's disgusting for you to even show it to an adult, let alone a minor. And here you are, actively doing it now. This is disgusting. The next thing I want to show you guys, or let you guys in on, is also one that you will be familiar with, which is New Carnival. Thank God this man doesn't send any of the graphic or inappropriate scenes, but what he does do, again, on a server with minors, sends edits of this game. Sends GIFs of this game. And texts in relation to this game, where he says he loves yaoi games, and that's fine. That by itself is fine, but the sending the gifts, sending the edits, and there's also messages of him in the server talking about how he doesn't like Camp Buddy, which isn't horrifically relevant. I don't care about Camp Buddy, and this guy made it clear he doesn't either. But then he follows it up to say he prefers New Carnival, which again doesn't sound like a lot. But when you're on, how do I explain this to make sense to people who don't quite understand? I tried my best. I'm sorry if this doesn't work very well. My responsibility when talking with anyone about anything of this nature is to make sure that they are 1, of age, or 2, if they are not of age, and by chance, by accident, I might have brought this up to someone who might not be of age, which has happened before. I elaborate and make sure they know that if they are not of age, this is not good media for them to be interacting with. Ayato did neither of those. He's publicly endorsing this game, which isn't bad. Maybe it is a good game, I don't know. I've never played it, none of my business. But he gives absolutely no context that this is in fact an adult game when there are minors as young as 13 and 14 present that he knows of. He also sends a cosplay as well of New Carnival. I didn't click the video, it's none of my business, but I know it's someone's cosplay. And again, same reason that I've just stated, All of these things, whether you like it or not, are going to encourage minors to look into it when you are not specifying that this stuff isn't for minors. And there's an argument to be made here that it wouldn't actually matter if minors were to look into this, and I could only stand for that argument if Ayato is sitting here and saying, hey, this is not safe for minors, by the way. But he's not. He's giving no warning like that. At all. Because the argument wouldn't be that it's okay for minors. The argument then would be that he has no responsibility over what minors do after he gives warnings, which is true. But he never gave the warnings. So this is my gripe now, is to say that he never gave those warnings that should have been given. Some other things he did, he sent a link to a server. It was a roleplay server, and he told people, let me find his exact word, guys, join the roleplay server, and he sent a link. I don't know what that roleplay server is because the link is expired, unfortunately, as of when I get to it. Just my luck. But Ayato is in a roleplay server, which isn't by itself bad. I'm not here to shame roleplay, but when this man is texting people in the ways he has been, minors and adults, with absolutely no boundaries or consent respected, I'm a little nervous for what type of roleplays this man might be getting into. With people who maybe do or don't consent entirely to everything, And I want to bring this up in relation to another point, which is that Ayato, people tolerate you. This is very clear to me because in another couple of screenshots, I'm going to bring up multiple as my evidence for this. In another screenshot, you say you want Bella Dimitrescu from Resident Evil, I don't remember which one, I believe it might be 4, to impreg you. And I just want to show the responses, which are absolutely none, because everyone ignored that. And I scrolled down for a lot longer than what I'm showing on screen right now. Everyone ignored that. Because it's not comfortable conversation. They didn't kick you for that, but they didn't care for it either, and they weren't interested in talking about that, you know? But again, it's also, you know, a weird thing to say on a public server where you know there is minors. It's a little bit weird, but I'm not gonna judge it too hard, because again, maybe I'm just being a little unforgiving. Okay, fine. You had a fight with someone on the server. I'm gonna show some parts of this, not all. You had a fight with someone on the server because you replied to another person saying that you're the ugly one in the server after the original person said everyone is gorgeous. You replied to the original message saying you're ugly, someone else called you out on it and said that you're attention seeking. And your fight continued. You said that that person had anger issues. That person called you out on your Euritian B Club profile picture. And you said, how the fuck, how am I supposed to be weird if I have a fictional character as my profile picture? Which, again, whatever, you know? But the issue is not that you had it as your profile, but this person caught on that you just in general are a bit strange, because you're messaging minors about this stuff. And whether this person knew that or not, I don't know. But the fact of the matter is, I want to show that people, in general, just tolerate you. Well, it's not the character, it's the anime. The way you base your whole personality on him is, like, that's weird. And you said you don't care. It's just, you know? And they pointed out to you, your own words, I look so fucking ugly, disgusting shit, worthless living, weirdo, buddy, you need help. Because that's what you said in the server. And again, this is off topic to the minors part, but I just want to show you, you didn't get banned for any of that. You know? And other server members, when they got involved, were telling you both to stop fighting. Which is fine, but, you know, again, that person's concerns were dismissed, and you were permitted to stay on the server. Because they tolerated you. They tolerated you bringing up mpreg. They tolerated you just constantly compliment fishing, as you do, as you continue to on your TikTok, as of recording this video as well with some of your new videos, with captions like this. In all, you are a strange person, and some of my commenters I do believe are right when they say that you seek validation in just everyone. You are really insecure and you seek validation, that's true, but my point is, people tolerate you. On servers, people tolerate you, and I'm nervous because I've made this point many times in my videos now. People don't have to tolerate you. I'm sitting here with a microphone in front of me begging people not to tolerate this behavior because the way you have escalated through the years is crazy to me. I don't know why I said years, through the months is crazy to me. The way you started off half a year ago with someone not even asking their age and exposing them to this type of stuff, and now you are asking their age, knowing they're minors and still exposing them to this stuff. You have escalated. Your behavior has gotten worse since half a year ago. And again, the behavior you exhibit, both on this server and in your private messages with some of these minors, which I will get to, it gets worse somehow. And I really thought it couldn't get worse, but it does. It just does. And what else is there that I'm interested in showing you guys? You said good morning masochistic kittens while sending a diabolic lovers edit, which just is some guy saying like good morning, And someone replied to that with the anxious face. Because that's a weird thing to say, Ayato. You don't just enter a Discord server, and with minors, by the way, you don't just enter a Discord server saying, "Good morning, masochistic kittens." And this is not the first time you said weird shit like this to people. There's other example, I just gotta find it in my files because I have so many screenshots from this server. I have to find it, I'm sorry. You have so many screenshots of you being weird. And saying weird stuff in the server and I can't find it. I've got so many. I think I've got like 30 screenshots from this server because you are that bizarre. You understand me? Well, I say that as if you're watching this. You haven't watched the other one, clearly, and your response from my first video makes me think you didn't even fully watch that one. You watched like the first 40-50 minutes and then clocked out of a 2.5 hour long video, and then you made your response and you look dumb. There are some screenshots, by the way. I'm gonna cover this quickly because I can't find what I'm looking for. It's somewhere in this folder and we'll just go back to that when I find it. While I have found this, I know I showed the minors messages already, but while I was going through the server, I found some messages between you and the minor that I don't think the minor actually remember or realize even exist. So I'm gonna show them on screen now. The minor said so pretty. I don't know what it was to, but I don't really care. You atted them and said, "Heh, looking for a friend." The minor then said, "Yes, please, I need friends." And you said, "Now you're stuck with me, silly baka." Which by itself is not weird, but having known that you have sent minors literal, not safe for work content, having known that you have literally tried to get a stranger that you didn't even know the age of into your weird master alpha male roleplays, I'm concerned about these messages. I'm really concerned about these messages. And I don't think the minor realized they existed or they would have sent them to me. So these I found and the minor probably doesn't even realize I found them. Because I haven't, at the time of recording, reached out to them to tell them, "Hey, by the way, I found these as well." Because I've been so focused on just making this video. I've taken like 2-day break because I had migraines. But the minor is gonna find out by my upload 1, and 2, I will probably reach out to them before I upload this to say, "Hey, by the way, I found this stuff also." What is this? Okay, you also sent this in the server, which again, by itself is not bad. Except it is bad. You know why it's bad, Ayato? You know why it's bad? Cause you literally... It's Ayato's Sakamaki, which you should be able to see because that's not the part of the screenshot I have to blur. The part of the screenshot I have to blur is the image you use for prose and the written moaning that you decided to put underneath that image. I will describe the image for you guys. It is a vampire biting someone's inner thigh. That's what it is, and there is blood, and it is obviously very suggestive. And underneath... God, how do I even describe this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 10 H's, 7 F's, and 6 G's, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 exclamation marks. You can write that out if you want to figure out what that is. But I'm not showing it. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting to be sending in a server. Again, with minors, you're sending suggestive imagery from animes and games to a server with minors. I'm really, really concerned. And somehow, this isn't even the worst thing. Somehow, this isn't even the worst thing that he's done yet. We're gonna get to that. This isn't even the worst thing he has sent yet. But I think that's everything relevant that I need to cover that I have not already covered. I mean, he sent this as well, which is between him and his duo. I'm actually going to leave this uncensored, because it's in Romanian. And I'm too lazy to find a translator. Maybe I will, for the purpose of this video, find a translator last second. But as of right now, in recording, I don't care. But you sent it in the server, and the only response you got was from someone saying, "Oh." Which could mean anything, but to me, I know the nature of what you were saying to this person. You can read it. You can read, because you guys seem to like writing part in English and part in Romanian. So you can read some parts of it, and I'm not saying that like an insult. I do the same thing as well sometimes. When I'm in French, I will go back to English and then back to French. I do the same thing. But it's because you've done that that I can read some of this, and I will read some of this aloud. So Ayato, I can see that this user replies to you saying woof woof. And this user says, "Whoa, barking for me? With the squiggly line? Grabs you by the face and brings you close to mine, kissing you." You reply to that with a heart. They then continue in Romanian, and you say, "Yes, Alpha." And you reply to that with a heart as well, and I'm sure my Romanian audience are absolutely traumatized having to read that. And then the other person replies, "Good baby boy." And you reply to that with a heart. And you sent that in a public server, by the way, with 110 members. And you know there are minors present, because you've been privately messaging two of them. All in all, Ayato, if you, by some miracle, are not a child predator, at the very least, you have no respect for boundaries or consent. So I don't care to have made these videos, really, at all, about you. I know I'm doing the right thing. What I am doing is bringing awareness to this exact behavior right here. Literally, my duo, and then you send the screenshot. That is never going to be a screenshot that is welcome in many, many spaces. It's uncomfortable to look at. Private messages are private messages for a reason. And this is one that I feel like a lot of people would have been a lot happier if they didn't have to see or listen to. Because it's uncomfortable. No one wants to see your private roleplays, but you have an oversharing problem, at the very least. At the very best, if you are not a child predator, if you are not into little kids, at the very best case scenario, you have an oversharing problem. But, seeing as you have been privately messaging minors, multiple now, with evidence, and multiple also that have reached out to me who have not provided me evidence yet, but have provided me incredibly detailed accounts of things you have done, I am incredibly concerned that you have an issue involving messaging minors, messaging adults, messaging anyone with a heartbeat. You have an issue. You're not very socially conducted, and I don't mean that necessarily to say that a lot of people out there are socially conducted. I'm not calling you neurodivergent or anything like that. I am saying that you don't seem to have a capacity to care for anyone but yourself. So that's why I will continue to make these videos, because in your apology, you showed that too. The only person you focused on in your... And it's not an apology. He never said sorry for anything. He was not sorry for exposing a minor to slow damage. He was not sorry for exposing a minor to urichin, for saying that he was going to strangle a minor's genitalia. He was not sorry for any of that. In your reply to me, Ayato, on the off chance you're watching this, the only thing you cared about was your own image. That's why I will continue to make these videos for as many victims as there are out there. I will let my space, my platform, be a space for them to use to voice the things that they have gone through, because no one should have ever been in these situations involving you. And I feel partly at fault for letting it happen, because I let you feel safe enough to be doing this stuff and to still reach out and message me. And there is still a video on your platform of me saying that you seem nice and I wish good things happen to you, and you know that is further from the truth. So, for as long as you refuse to apologize to any of your victims, one of which you cannot apologize to because he is dead, for as long as you refuse to take any kind of accountability, and for as long as there are still victims out there who haven't had their stories told yet, I'm going to continue making videos about you. I'm going to continue making videos about every new situation that gets presented to me involving you. People have the full right and respect that they will get on my platform. I will platform these people's voices. They deserve to be heard. I'm so sick of victims of these type of situations going unheard forever. As one of them, I'm so sick of it. So, my final message to you guys before we get to the very final part of this video is that I will be platforming the voices of everyone who comes forward to me who wants their voice platformed. If you've had experience with Ayato and you can show me that, please, I urge you to reach out to me. These videos I have made are not in vain. We have protected people with them. He has been banned from servers like this one, for example. More people are now aware of this man and the stuff he has done, and they are either cutting him off. His friends and mutuals that we used to share have cut him off after finding out about the stuff he has done from my videos. All of this is not in vain. I will continue to speak out against this disgusting man because I don't support what he's done. So, as I said, if you have experience with this man or anything alike, and you can show me that, then please, I urge you to reach out, because we are protecting people with the stuff that myself and the victims have been able to do. We've been able to achieve a lot, and that's something that I'm incredibly proud of. Now, for the final part of this video, I must warn you guys, I am yelling for the entire next 7 minutes or so straight. What I found out this man done, it's the final thing he's done that I want to discuss, quite frankly, on this server. What I found out this man has done is disgusting. It is incredibly disgusting, and I want to give you your warnings now. For loud volume, for yelling, for insanely coarse language, because I did not censor myself in any way or shape or form. And I haven't done that much through this video, but it's especially true for the next segment. You have, from now, about 10 seconds to turn down your volume. You have from now about 10 seconds to leave the video if you are not comfortable to hear what it sounds like when I'm extremely, extremely angry and upset. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey Ayato! Hi! So... you sent an audio clip to a minor of you moaning. And your immediate response was, dude, what was that? I didn't mean to moan. I tried to scream. Why did I sound like a female? The minor says something. I don't know what the minor says. And that's none of my business either. You sent a moaning clip to a minor. You then replied to your own clip saying that made my jaw fall off. And then, bear in mind, you haven't yet said sorry for sending that to a minor, for exposing a minor to that. You haven't apologized yet. You then, after giving the worst excuse ever, you screen record it and post it to a server where there are other minors, including this one. And the minor who reached out to me to give their situation, and also the one who reached out to the owner to get you banned, and also the one who reached out to the owner to ask if I can be on that server so I can look at the shit you've been saying and doing, that is not the same minor as this one. You have been texting 2 different minors that I know of from this server alone. And you're doing this shit? And you post this shit publicly to that very same server with these minors present and other minors too. I'm not going to criticize the server or the people in it because they're not my server, quite frankly, and people are allowed to run the server they wanted to. In any way they want. That's their right, that's their respect. Had you done this on my server, it would have been an immediate ban. You were immediately banned anyway because you were texting little kids. But doing something like this would have been an immediate ban. That's disgusting. And you don't feel ashamed. And again, I want to bring up your god-awful response again because you failed to mention that you were messaging other minors. I don't know how old the minor in this screenshot is, but I do know that they are a minor. I do know that from the responses they have made to me, that they are a minor. I do know that. I do also know they're not in contact with you anymore because you've been doing weird shit like this. But the minor who reached out to me about you is 14, going on 15. They told you that as well, and you hearted it. You hearted it. And I gotta find the screenshot. You hearted that. And you said something along the lines of, that's fine because you're comfortable with any age. I just got to find it. Here, I think. Yeah, I'm comfortable with any age. I don't mind, you said. Yeah, so fucking fine that you are comfortable with any age when you're doing this shit with minors. I thought that your messages with V was bad. I thought they were bad. I did not think that you would go to such a bad level to send an actual audio clip of you moaning, to feel proud enough of it that you're gonna share it in a server with this minor and other minors present because you find it funny or whatever, or you're proud of it or whatever the fuck. It would never happen because I am a careful person, unlike you. I would never, ever send an audio clip of me moaning to a minor, but God, I ever did. You know what I would do, Ayato? I would fucking delete it. I would apologize profusely and probably cut contact because, you shouldn't be talking to minors anyway. I shouldn't be talking to minors anyway. But you especially, because you are not safe for them. It's clear. That's clear. I've made 3 videos currently on you. This is the 4th. You are very clearly not safe to be around minors. You are a sick creature, Ayato, to be doing this. And this is a sick fucking joke. Where was this in your response to me when you responded to my message about V? Where was this that you had done this? How the hell could you ever justify this? Because is this a joke too? Is it so fucking funny to you? Because, again, this is your perfect nature. This is you, again, doing something 18 plus or bringing something 18 plus out of nothing. The minor did not consent to having this sent to them. You didn't ask. You are a weird piece of shit, and it disturbs me more that this piece of evidence comes directly from you. Because you're the one who screen recorded it and made it public on the server. This piece of evidence comes directly from you. What the hell am I meant to say? You are sick. You are fucking sick, Ayato. And anyone else who does this shit, you are sick too. In no way is this appropriate ever to be doing with a minor. It's not appropriate to be doing to other adults who don't fucking consent to this. Don't be doing this shit, I swear. Don't be doing this.